Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the TEQ LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku and basically exactly what you could consider using him for in the Omega Shenron event, how you can use him, etc., and how he does. Now the thing is, TEQ LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku has two kind of interesting sides to the coin. You have the more defensive side where you don't get the 18 key, and he's actually pretty solid defensively, solid enough that he'll take single digits from an int type Omega Shenron in the final phase. The other side of the coin is when you do get the 18 key, or where he just takes too much damage before he supers, because how he works, he has 50% damage reduction before he fires off his ultra super attack. Now if he doesn't fire it off, he has 50% damage reduction but only 200k defense until he supers, which is enough in most situations for normals but not for super attacks. After he supers, he ends up having 50% damage reduction and he has like 600k defense, which makes him way better when it comes to tanking. So it's a bit of like, I don't want to say mixed bag, but it's a bit of a kind of do or die situation with him. You either go for the big damage and then he's only got his 600k defense, which isn't bad by the way at all, just not enough to tank certain fights in terms of super attacks for sure, but definitely some normals will still give him a bit of pain. But with that being said, you get way more damage out of him. You know, we're talking like a 22 million attack stat compared to like a 3 million attack stat, and that's kind of the coin you have to flip with him. You either go straight for damage or you go for the solid defense. Now for me personally, I like running him as a floater. For the purposes of this video, I have him in the second slot, but for all intensive purposes, if someone was to ask me how should I run him, I would run him as a floater. I'd run him as a third slot unit. I'd let him, do his thing. I wouldn't really necessarily push for him to be a second slot unit, as I think that's just not necessary. And I think ultimately at the end of the day, he is a little bit better kind of running off of this situation where he can get, like his damage off, because I think just bringing him as a unit and not getting his damage, like not getting his 18 key to keep him defensively sound as a second slot unit, okay, it's an okay strategy, but for me personally, I would rather he fires off 20 million attack stats, and I just deal with the damage he takes afterwards. As a floater, that's not too bad, because he'll keep his 50% damage reduction for the majority of the video, and then, for the majority of the turn, and then what'll happen is it'll obviously, disappear, but only at the end of the turn, generally after AoEs are done, or he's generally supered, so obviously now his defense is like 600k, which makes it a bit better. That's kind of where I stand on it. Obviously, I think it's going to depend on your team and where you're getting your damage from, and if you need Goku to really throw in damage, or maybe you just need him to be a solid-ish second slot unit. Sometimes maybe you don't need him to be the big source of damage that he is in some cases. With that being said, I just think it's kind of a waste of his really unique and super powerful damage dealing abilities to not use him for that. Of course, it's just going to depend again on you and your team build, but for me, I definitely feel like there is a good place for him as a floater in this event, especially considering the type disadvantage in that. I think in other events you could potentially run him as a second slot unit. After super and non-AoE events, he definitely has way more of a presence, and could be more of a permanent fixture, because you're getting a little bit more chunk change out of him. You're getting the transformations, you're getting some really powerful stuff. So I think like in those situations, getting his 18 key, having him do damage is not a big issue. But you can see here, like, he's not going to tank super attacks or anything, even with 50% damage reduction. It's just not a situation for him. type disadvantage basically removes 50% damage reduction for the most part, but other than that, he handles things fine.